for people to show up. I could do some reports. I could do the report on tax increment financing and a report on the COVID grant program.
Okay, I see Mr. Boki just arrived.
Hello, guys.
Well, let's wait till 4 o'clock. Well, I'll call the meeting to order on time. According to my phone, I'm at our Bemidji location on my cell phone. So according to my cell phone, it's only 3:59. So others have a few seconds yet to arrive. But we do have Mike, Matt, myself, and Matt. So we do have a quorum. So according to my phone, it is 4 o'clock. And so being 4 o'clock, I'm going to call to order the meeting of the Development Authority. And any action today will have to be a roll call action. Item number 2 on the agenda is the minutes. You all had the minutes in your packet for the last meeting. Any comments, additions, deletions for that? Otherwise, I'll take a motion.
I've read the minutes and I move that we go ahead and approve them as presented.
Bulky to second.
Motion by Ron, seconded by Matt. All those in favor, Ron?
Aye.
Matt?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
All right. Motion carries.
Hey, Tom, I'm at GL's here too, and I approve.
Oh, GL is here too, and he votes yes. So indeed, it's all done. Okay, item 3, financials. The financial reports were also in your packet, and that includes a payment of claims that were in there. If there are any questions, they can come up. Otherwise, I'll take a motion.
This is Stearns. I move for approval.
Second it.
Motion by Mike to approve, seconded by Ron. Any other discussion? All in favor, Ron?
Aye.
Matt?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
GL?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 4, new business. A, the report on tax increment financing districts. Go ahead, Larry.
Well, I just wanted to point out that we had 6 tax increment financing districts that got decertified this year. That represents about 20% of our TIF districts. It also represents about $275,000 in taxes that will now be distributed to the city, the county, and the school district. So it's good to see that these things do come to an end and that we actually do see an increase in the taxing capacity of all of our jurisdictions. So that's that.
All right, very good. Thank you. Item 4B, consideration to authorizing, I think it's what you meant to say in the minutes or in the agenda there, Larry.
Oh, sure.
Consideration to authorizing the preparation of TIF documents and setting up a public hearing for TIF District 41-1, which is the Tower Heights development. If you have something to add, Larry, go ahead. And then if Bob has anything, or if any of the commissioners have questions for Bob in regarding his project, but Larry, we'll start with you.
Sure. The loan committee met on this request on September 22nd. This is a housing TIF district. It would consist of 42 single-family units and 48 multifamily units. The total project cost is about $15.5 million. The request for TIF is for $1,615,900. And there's a fact sheet that I sent out that shows how much TIF we think will be collected over time. This district would run for about 17 years if we awarded the amount that's being requested. The committee recommended approval of going ahead with the preparation of documents and setting the public hearing. The public hearings for this would be held in December.
All right. Any commissioners have any questions?
Well, the only comment I have, we've talked about keeping these TIF districts down to 15 years or less, and we're off to 17 again. And I guess after that one with Midtown, we had that snafu where it ended up being over 25 years. I just think we have to watch how far we let these things go out. And I like to see it being a couple of years less myself personally. I don't know how the rest of you feel, but
The intent of TIF isn't though to see how far you can ratchet it down. It's how much TIF is necessary to make. the
I
project
understand that, Larry, but 17 years is a long time. A lot of times on that Midtown group, they're gonna be ready to be remodeling after 25 years. And that's my concern is extending this money out that far. And I mean, and the public says that too. It isn't just me.
Well, okay, I haven't heard that from the public, and the
Oh,
interesting
boy,
part, the interesting part about tax increment financing is that the money that is used for that comes from the project itself. It doesn't come from other sources of money in the community. So,
Well, I understand that, but the taxes that are, should be being paid directly to that project is being paid for their own self-fund. It's kind of self-serving. So I'm just saying I would prefer having it, and we've had this discussion forever and ever. I just wish we could have it for 15 years or less.
All right, any other comments?
I have a question, Gio. So it says on the sheet here, most of the TIF funds would cover the cost of sewer, water, and streets. What is the estimate on this, on the sewer, water, and streets?
the estimate is about $1.5 million for sewer, water, and streets.
I guess I'm not on the loan committee, but if that, I guess, I certainly agree that that's would be good to cover those costs, because otherwise the city's going to put those out. I mean, I get that. What's the rationale from going for just on the committee? Somebody to tell me you go from the $1.5 million, adding that other $116,000 rough numbers to the TIF
Oh.
district.
There are other costs involved in the project, not just the sewer, water, and streets, but there's other costs of property acquisition and development that make it necessary, according to the pro formas provided by the developers, for why they need that additional money.
I guess my comment goes back to kind of where Ron's at, to be honest with you. I mean, I think that, and I'm all for development. I'm not anti-development. I'm positive development. But in 17 years, at the doubling of money and the thing of 7, we're going to have wages in the city are going to double twice. We're going to have more police officers, more schools, and everything else. Those are all costs that are going to be there, right? There's nobody on this board sitting here today that's even a lot of us are going to be dead in 17 years, let alone be on this board, right? So we're making decisions for long into the future. And I think those are things that should be considered.
All right, any other comments? Larry, would you present one more time the request that's before us?
Well, the request that's before us is that we set a public hearing, which would be for our December 1st meeting, and authorize the preparation of tax increment financing reports in the amount of $1,615,900 for this project.
And a pay-as-you-go TIF.
Pay as you go. So if they don't generate that amount of taxes, they don't get that much TIF.
Right.
I want to say something too, though.
Okay, Bob?
You talk about what if the project don't go? I mean, we need affordable housing. I mean, I did a whole, the other Pelican River Heights. I mean, it's brings in taxes, lots of taxes, way more than they're going to be, and it gets the price of the specials down. Otherwise, it's hard to sell them, hard to get affordable housing. So
Bob, what are the prices of these homes going to be that you're going to single family homes? What do you figure on selling those for?
well, but right now it's we're going to target for 200, 250, and that's right in affordable housing. So them are the ones that seem to sell.
So 200 to 250.
Well, it started out at 150 on Pelican River Heights, but within 10 years of affordable housing, I think they think it's 250,000, I guess. But,
What's the rental gonna be on the apartment units?
I don't, I don't have that stuff with us there.
What was the question?
The rentals, maybe they had.
The rent
I'm
rate,
not-
I think that was based at about 1,100, between 900 and 1,100 a unit. And that depends on the size of the unit. And then there was some discussion about whether or not there'd be subsidy and
Also, they do have to make 40% of the rental units available to people whose incomes are 60% of the median.
Yep.
Okay, so it's gonna be some income-based housing.
Yes, 40% of the units.
Well, now you make me feel a little better.
I guess I'm in favor of this project. GL, to your comment, I hope I'm around in 17 years. But I think this is a good project. When you talk to manufacturers, when you talk to business folks, it seems like affordable housing is a big issue that we have in Detroit Lakes. If this is something that we can do and help, yeah, everybody wants to keep this at 15 years. I completely understand that. But yet if we need to stretch and make this project work to get the employees that we need in town and that affordable housing we're looking to achieve, this might be something that in my mind seems like it might be a good solution to get.
Well, could this be part of the motion that these houses be in that 200 to 250 range?
I think given what's going on with the cost of materials right now, that's probably a dangerous road to tread.
Well, I'm just saying, Larry, we're telling us here we got 200, 250, and they come in at 275 to 325, then we kind of lost the low income factor. That's my only concern.
The affordable housing amount will go up, probably go up like it has there in the 5-10 years.
Well, the median family income is 38,100 in Detroit Lakes. So even at that rate, you're going to have people having a hard time even affording a $200,000 home. So that's what I'm.
That's what that we work for. Yeah, there are other things that they can get to on besides the tax increment. They could get help from for affordable housing too, I think.
right. Well, and the action before us right now is whether or not to advertise for the public hearing and start to prepare documents. Then after the public hearing, there'll be a motion to send it on to the city council. So I think there's lots of times lots of points and meetings where maybe some of those fine tuning can happen, but first we have to get past the public hearing.
I have one more
So-
question. I'm gonna shut up. One more question. So you bankers out there today to afford a $200,000 house, what would a couple, two people working and 2 kids, what would they need to make? Rough numbers.
So 200,000, 160,
Yeah, they'd have to have 40 grand down payment and
probably, yeah. Rates are terribly low right now.
yeah.
On a 30-year,
I think you need to look at closer to 250 because I think the cost of building housing, at least for the last few years.
Larry, that's not my question. My
oh,
question
so, okay, so
was-
GL, on a $200,000 mortgage, 30-year, I'm going 3.5%, which is much higher than current rates. You're looking at a monthly payment of principal and interest of around $900 a month. Now that doesn't take care of taxes and insurance and everything else, but if that's 36% of their income, well, that'd be about $2,500. They have to make $2,500 a month gross, $30,000 a year, which I wouldn't do it as a lender, but
They qualify at that.
that is representative of low rates right now being very appealing to people buying houses of, especially in this range of price.
Well,
Um,
that's the big kicker now, because most of the rentals are in town now are between that 900 and 1100. But the big deal for these people, they can make the house payment if they don't have that $40,000 down. And that's
Correct.
that's the big problem. And
So,
Sir, as a realtor, I can assure you, there's a lot of programs, even not just, you know, first-time home buyer programs, but there's conventional programs that are requiring almost nothing down. So, I mean, it's available to these young people. It's not necessarily their best move in life, but it's available.
so one other question for Bristlin Stearns here. Again, you're going to put up the apartment buildings. What's the time frame on the apartment buildings?
Well, we got lots for them, and we'll be selling the lots out. We don't build them ourselves, but they're going.
Wait, to clarify, you don't plan on putting up the apartment buildings, or you are?
Well, we could, but we'll probably sell the lots, apartment lots for that. We got enough to do with the houses. But I want to, on your time schedule there, you know, I that was 40 some houses in the Pelican River Heights too, and 2 apartment buildings and that, and different types, but that's 11 years. That's how long it took to complete. And we don't want to build so many a year that I'm not gonna, you know, stick my neck out too far. But
Bob, when you sell these houses, then these people would buy the houses and there'd be no specials on the house then, is that correct?
well, that's the way, yeah, that's how we get it down, the price down. And if we do the utilities ourselves, we can, like we did over there, we did them ourselves, and we got them down to, well, we are on the houses, it was $9,000. Everybody else was paying 20. So I mean, that's what our costs got to be. But if we, that's the biggest cost going in there, and I don't want to. I can't see where, and I can't see what it makes too much difference how long you carry that out, because there's got to be a deadline anyway, and when it's done, it's done. And so I don't know what I don't understand why it makes a difference on how many years it's is. I don't know how does that affect you, that you run the tax increment out 17 years versus 15 years? I don't understand it, but.
Well, during the period of the TIF, the money is going to pay for those services, whether you borrow the money or use your own money. When the taxes get paid, goes to the county, and then it goes back to that person for those development costs. And that's how many years the city and the county and the school district don't have the benefit of those taxes, but they do have the expense of having streetlights and police cars and fire trucks covering those areas. And that is the reason why there's concern about the length of years.
But they don't get it's a percentage of the taxes, isn't it? I mean, it doesn't.
It's the TIF is the tax increment, and that really should be a tax increase, because what they get is they get the taxes that they're collecting on the land right now. They don't get the taxes from the increase in valuation that you're going to create with buildings. And that's what goes to pay you back for your infrastructure.
Well, one way or the other, it goes from a piece of land to a lot of taxes.
Right, absolutely.
I mean, it's not I know it's hard to get to even sell them houses, and that if you're looking at $20,000-$30,000 specials, and you're sitting there with them specials and that they gotta pay that besides the house. And I think that's why them sold out there.
Right, right. With a TIF, there should not be any specials because what normally they would pay for in specials are being paid with their taxes through the TIF.
Right.
Well, and a huge consideration too is if the housing market stayed exactly where it is right now, then we wouldn't talk about 17 years because we'd build up 42 houses and sell them in a quick hurry. But you don't expect that to be the case. You know, and then you take that money, if we were to amortize it out over 17 years, which is not the case, there's no amortization on this request whatsoever. This is today dollars. And probably 6 months ago when we started putting all the numbers together. So even by the point that we're here today, we're probably already behind on what this truly will cost. So I
I'm not, I don't know if it's either here or it doesn't matter, 15, 17, that doesn't make any difference to me, but I just can't see how I suppose it costs more or whatever, they get less tax. I don't know what, I don't see how it makes a difference. Because if you get it done in 11 years, or 10, 12 years or whatever, or if you get it in which, and if you don't get them, if they don't sell and the market goes down, well, they're going to be, can't do much about it.
Bob, how many square feet are these houses gonna be?
I don't know, I think the ones that he's usually doing about 1,200 square feet,
Okay,
2,000. Well, they're split levels mostly. We're not going to be limited to one neither. We in Pelican River Heights too, there was whatever was, we got twin homes there, we got single family homes, we got split levels, but I mean, whatever was, selling them. And I don't know, we didn't just do that. And then apartment lots and so anyway, it worked out and I want to do it as it goes, so.
are these lots gonna be 100-foot front lots, or how big are the lots gonna be?
They're, them single family or them split levels, they were 65 feet wide. We had 130-foot lots and we split them into whatever. There were twin lots. Then a lot of them, we split them and had them two houses on there. It worked out fine.
But even out in the country here, you're still gonna talking 65-foot lots. Why aren't you going 100-foot lots?
optimizing the size, the number of lots that we can fit into the,
Well, I understand that too, but it looks like you're putting the 50 pounds of potatoes in the 10-pound bag. Is what some of them look like.
The idea of
Go drive
The
it.
idea of smaller lots is to try and keep your special assessments at a reasonable level as well. So that has been the trend.
I mean, I can tell you what, the people now aren't worrying about no big lots. The ones that are moving into them kind of houses are just want houses, and they sold fast. We could sell the lots faster, and like you say, if you got a single lot there and your specials are $9,000 or something, you go to the other one and they're 18,000. In this case, be about $28,000 if I do run through the city with engineering or the whole thing.
Mark, Larry, or two others.
Well, are you saying, Bob, that you'd be okay with a 15-year TIF instead of 17 then? Is that what I heard you say?
Well, I don't know what, I don't understand why it makes a difference. I'm not, I mean, Larry knows about it. He's always been fair. He tells me what's best for me or you and that. And Yeah,
So-
he-
So when you say a 15-year TIF, you're saying you'd like to cap it. If it hasn't paid out, it ends no matter what.
That's correct.
Because we're making a projection, right? So
Yeah,
then suppose that it paid out at 12 years, would you get a bonus?
well, we'd all be
No.
happy then.
Stearns
Well-
here, a couple questions if I can ask. These apartments, I guess I wasn't under the expectation that you're gonna be farming these out to another party. You say they'll be sold, probably built within the first 2 years. Do you have signed purchase agreements on those? And the reason I ask is, I mean, if you have 2 apartment buildings constructed pretty quickly, that's gonna really immediately reduce this amount of
Not at
TIF
purchase
right away.
agreements. We have people that have asked, and then we have priced out ourselves, but
I mean, so to the committee, I mean, if they put up those apartment buildings, that's a significant reduction right away, correct?
Well, that's what we hope.
Yes.
So,
I mean, it's to benefit us. We're gonna
This is,
sell the lot.
Mike, just so you know, this is the way that Pelican River Heights was done. There were
no, I appreciate
private
that, yeah.
groups that did the apartment buildings. And 48 units is not too many to put on the market at one
No.
time.
I do not take any issue with the size of the buildings, Larry. I think that's great, and I think it is needed. I'm just trying to point out that maybe the 15 to 17 years is kind of irrelevant because you put up those apartment buildings and the amount of obligation goes down pretty quickly because you have 2 large properties put into the system right away, correct?
Correct, yes.
Thank you.
Well, what it done for me, when we did that, when I sold them apartment lots, then I was able to, go ahead and do the utilities all the way through it. Otherwise, I would, started out and, I just, as I went, instead of spending so much money, I'm gonna sit there.
All right. Does anybody else have a comment that we haven't already digested? If not, the motion we need to address is whether or not we want to move this to the next step, which is a public hearing.
So moved, Stearns here.
Motion by Mike.
I'll second that motion, but I do that with the idea that these are gonna be houses from 200 to 250. I would be very disappointed if these houses ended up being 275 to 300. And
Oh,
so,
wait a minute here now. It all depends on what economy is.
well, I understand that, but we're talking, you're saying, you start off by saying these are gonna be low income housing and income-based housing, and then once you start going, that's why we're giving this TIF. If we're gonna be up in the 300 range, and that, to me, that changes the story.
No, yeah, well, I doubt that they would, but if it's like in the Pelican River, we started out at 150 and when we were towards the end there, 10 years later or whatever it was, we're hard pressed to do them for 200. So they went
Yeah.
up 50 grand and, I mean, that's like the market. I would sure that it won't go up.
Yeah.
but
Well, and
I-
the action we have to consider today isn't the details of those agreements or what the TIF is going to be. It's whether or not we want to move it up to the public hearing to discuss those exact things.
Yeah.
And that's where this kind of discussion should be taking place. So we do have a motion and a second to approve the TIF as presented and move it to the next step, which is a public hearing. In a roll call vote, I'll start with Ron,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Matt. Matt must be on mute.
Aye, sorry about that.
No, that's all right. GL.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. And next thing on the agenda is item 4C, consideration to approval of the records retention and confidentiality agreement of the West Etzel Initiative Fund. And this is something we go through every year, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct.
And so we do need a motion to approve the West Central Initiative Fund's records retention and confidentiality agreement.
Stearns here. I'll take the easy one. I'll move for approval.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion by Mike, second by Ron. Any discussion? All those in favor, Ron,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
GL,
Aye.
Matt?
Aye.
All right, item 4D, discuss moving the meeting to to November 5th due to the election of November 3rd. If there is no objection, we're just gonna go ahead and move it, and that doesn't need action. It just needs advertisement in the city webpage or newspaper or wherever this gets posted.
At the November 5th meeting, we will be reviewing the grant applications for the city's COVID grants. We've set up a new program to provide COVID grants up to $10,000 for small businesses. That would be businesses with 25 employees or less. And we've got 17 applications so far.
Wow, well, good.
Can we get excuse ourselves?
Yes,
Yes, you can, yeah.
I have one question. When I heard you mention West Central,
Yeah,
they came in one time and had just a year or so ago, had a deal. Do they have a deal where they buy lots and then buy a package of lots, and then they put houses on the people out of the houses? They pay the lots and the owners don't own. Have you heard of that?
I have
I have
not.
not.
It sounds more like a MMCDC project than a West Central project. They do more kind of housing.
No, they were looking at it, but it was at West Central, and it came from Fisher. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, well, it'd be worth you to check into it.
Well, I know that right now they've lost some of their funding from 3N, so they're trying to scratch to get funding for a lot of their projects right now, but maybe they still have that program still going.
Oh,
Say, Tom.
yes.
All right, I just thought maybe you knew, but well,
Tom.
thanks a lot.
Kelsey, go ahead.
Yeah, it was West Central Community Action, not West Central Initiative.
Oh,
They're looking
thanks.
at doing a community land trust. I don't think they've started it yet, where they would actually buy lots, and then, like you mentioned, they would basically own the lots, build a house, and then have an agreement for someone to live and own the house, but not the property underneath it. But I don't think that ever launched, to my knowledge.
Oh, that was West Central Community Action, not Initiative.
Oh, okay. All right, and
Thank you. I pulled them up.
yeah, thanks for your time.
Okay, so we can't have the meeting on election day. We would move it to the 5th. It looks like Matt would not be available that day. Does anybody else have a conflict? Okay, let's just plan on the 5th.
I really think we should move the election up and get rid of these damned ads. I think we should
Yeah,
vote in the next,
I'm-
vote in like next week and be done with that and be done with this mess.
Yeah, I would go along with that, but
surely you
yeah.
have your mind made up. You don't need to watch the ads anymore.
yeah, well, my plan is that I'm just gonna stick to reading my book and I don't have the TV on, so. Okay, item 5, old business. You have your information in the packets on economic development and commercial industrial property. We have a replacement for Chet, as you've all heard, Dale Wild. He's on the meeting here today, and he'll be appointed at the October meeting of the City Council. And is there anything else to come before the committee? I'll go around the horn. Ron?
None.
Okay, Mike?
Dale, that is news to me that you're new to the Development Authority. Welcome aboard.
Thank you very much. Looking forward to it.
I just thought you were gracing us with your presence today.
Well, that too. Okay, anything else, Mike?
Nope, that's it.
GL?
Oh, welcome Dale, and I don't have anything.
Thank you.
Matt?
No, sir.
All right, unless there's an objection, we're going to adjourn the meeting.
Thank you.
Meeting is adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, welcome,
Thank you, guys.
They didn't recognize me. No, I don't know. It just pisses me off. I just used this thing the other day. You disconnect from this. I'm mad. I'm taking it out on you.